made the tackle. If they can get out to the left, they'll score. Lawson tries to dummy, tries to step away, gets so. Lawson's in. Sean Lawson scores the try. From the left, 1 minute to go. Gould with a long pass. Hitchie's run out. Hitchie's gone over for the try, but the conversion has been out. It's all locked up. 16 all. What a finish. Concealed to win the grand final, and it will come after the hoot of this kick. Hits it, hooks it, the wing will have it. It's there. They won it. They won it after the hooter. The Dolphins have done it. They jump in the air. The supporters do the same. What a kick by Anthony Singleton. Hamilton, good look on the outside. Long passes to go. Beautifully up to Gundry. Bit of pace, finds it out to Williams. Don't go too far this time. Craig Dwyer. Out to Dwyer. The guy for the corner. The Devils are in. They're setting up on the blind side, but that's just a ploy. Up here to Ben Wide. Long pass out to Adamson. Another long pass out to Napoli. Gets on the outside. Darren Anderson has mine. He'll score it himself. Jamie Martin finally scores it.
Four wonderful grand finals there, and the tradition is really building in the Queensland Cup, and now we're set for grand final number 5, and the two teams in contention for the Queensland Cup of 2000 are Toowoomba, who won the major semi-final, and they're up against Redcliffe, and they are two of the really dominant teams of the Queensland Cup competition in its history as well. When we look at the semi-final results, it was a big win for Toowoomba over Redcliffe to march straight into the grand final, and then last week Redcliffe were able to come back and turn it around against East, and now they're back up against Toowoomba, and we're sure it'll be a whole lot closer today in this grand final. David Wright, when you look at these two teams, you really get excited about what should be a terrific game.
Yeah, Jerry, you're right. Actually, I've been fortunate enough now to commentate over 20 grand finals over recent years. It makes me feel a bit old, really, but I really believe this will be one of the great ones. If we go back to the first Queensland Cup game, and you saw some highlights when Toowoomba were victorious over Redcliffe that day, that was a fantastic game. I think this one is going to be very, very special. And the reason I believe that is that we've really got two teams of opposites here. We've got Toowoomba, the best attacking side, Redcliffe, the best defensive side. Toowoomba's experience, Redcliffe's youth. We've got pace on both sides. Great kicking games from both sides, but for different reasons. Experience of Gould and young Paul Warwick coming in. So I think this game has got everything, and for that reason I think it's going to go down to the wire. Both sides will play to their strength. You'll never beat Redcliffe at their game, and you'll never beat Toowoomba at theirs. So it will really go down to the wire. If they haven't been practicing field goals this week, they may well rue the day. I even think, Jerry, it could go to extra time.
Well, that's a big prediction. You're not looking that old either, Dave. And Warren Boland, no doubt you always love grand finals as well.
Well, I am excited just listening to David's preview of the game. But look, the level of experience is the difference here. From a Toowoomba point of view, they are the younger side. They will want to get into their pattern. They want to start, get into the pattern, spark their confidence. If they get away from you, well, Redcliffe aren't going to catch them. Redcliffe have the battle-hardened pack. They certainly have age on their side in a positive sense in this game. And what they want to do is score first, stay in front, put the pressure on the Toowoomba side. And I think they'll do that with up, in-your-face, intimidating defence.
And a terrific crowd at Lang Park, Rugby League headquarters, for this big grand final of the Queensland Cup for 2000. And a few of your mates there, David.
Yes, Jerry, and there's one of the special guys. We're tribute to Chipsy today. Chipsy Harrington, there he is waving. Chipsy's doing a bit tough at the moment. A couple of old brothers boys, Lenny Dittmar, Johnny Layden, Mick Seary, they're all there. Bobby Cock and Paddy Hannon. There's about 40 guys brothers there today. They'll have a great day.
And out comes the Redcliffe team. They were well beaten in the major semi-final, but they came back in a blaze of glory last week. And there's their captain, Craig O'Dwyer, a tremendous captain, an experienced player. He actually played in a grand final with Norths at 5'8", and here he is captaining Redcliffe. And Redcliffe, well, just look at that lineup. There's so much experience in the side. Adam Mogg at fullback, George Wilson and Trent Lease give him plenty of speed and power on the wings, and John Olshart and Damien Richters are very skillful centres. Then Tony Gould, a master kicker at 5'8". Barry Denduck is a will-o'-the-wisp. He can do anything at halfback, and a tremendous forward pack, and that's where they might have the advantage over Toowoomba. Bob Campbell, Troy Lindsay and Craig O'Dwyer up front, and then Lou Scott, James Hinchy and Danny Burke. You could argue they've got one of the best packs in the competition. Bobby Campbell there is an expert at offloading the ball. He's a big man, he's strong, he loves to score tries, and he'll be retiring after this match. He wants to go out a winner.
The Toowoomba boys would love to go on with the job too. They were first into the grand final 2 weeks ago, winning the major semi, and they're led out there by Damon Keating. Great effort by Keating to lead this side. He suffered a car accident many years ago that challenged his career. Otherwise, there's no doubt he had the potential to go on and be one of the top Broncos players. He did make his debut for the Bronx this year. Let's have a look at the Toowoomba side. It is a beauty. These are the Broncos' young guns, the players of the future. Justin Hodges is at fullback. Adam Warwick and Chris Walker are the wings, two very good players. Brent Tate and Alex Wilson, big, strong centres. Paul Warwick, one of the most delicate kickers in the game, left or right foot. Jace Van Dyke at half-back. Corey Parker, Michael Ryan and Damon Keating up front, and Darren Matt, Neil Wyatt and Darren Ingram make up a very hard-working back row. The referee is Tony Maxsood. They've got a great bench, the Toowoomba side.
Right, you're right.
It's coached by Ivan Hinjak. We are in for one great game.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, the players have probably got a few butterflies at the moment, and certainly lots of people in the stand as well. Tony Maxsood says time on, and the 2000 grand final of the Queensland Cup is underway. Redcliffe with the first use of the ball as it's carted out up almost to their 10-metre line, and will be played there as Bob Campbell, the big man, and look at the enthusiasm in the defence of the Clydesdales. They'll be very keen in trying to pin Redcliffe right down there. Luke Scott takes it up almost to the 20-metre line and actually makes it across that line. Good, enthusiastic, charging run. And now George Wilson comes in from the wing and picks up another 10 metres for Redcliffe, and they're building up for what should be a Tony Gould kick reasonably soon as well. And this time it's carted forward by Danny Burke, so that's the fifth tackle. We'll look for Gould now. Instead, they'll go for Adam Mogg with a kick downfield, and across it goes to Adam Warwick, taking the ball on his own 30-metre line, and runs out of the shadows of the stand into the sunshine, and it's a beautiful day for rugby league. Warren Boland on the sideline.
Perfect conditions for the grand final, Jerry, and Toowoomba electing, after winning the toss, to run with the breeze and the sun at their backs in this first half. Already early problems, though. It looks like Darren Matt taking a knock in a tackle. He's groggy.
Darren Matt was in a bit of trouble. Jerry, was a head clash, and big Carl Webb coming on in the first couple of minutes of the game.
So Toowoomba start to spread the ball, and we know that they'll be keen to do that all day. And Chris Walker joining in, taking it across the halfway line. Getting in quickly to dummy half is Michael Ryan, and now a good run on the far side by Darren Ingram, and he's linked up over there, I think, with Corey Parker. So they're 10 metres into Redcliffe's territory while trying the short side. Not a lot of room over there. Kept alive, though, swung back inside to Wilson. And now the Toowoomba Clydesdales are only 30 metres out from the Redcliffe line, but they've lost the ball. Redcliffe come up with possession.
Change over of possession, and now a penalty to going to Redcliffe. Well, Toowoomba did not finish that set of six as they wanted. They tried a little dash down the blind side, and I guess back the speed of Chris Walker to get around his opposite number. He couldn't. And we've got a blood bin here for James Hinchy, who's trying to wipe it off on his red and white jersey. Thought it might conceal it, but Tony Maxsood insisting that he gets some attention, and he's replaced by Grant Flugie. So this is the first opportunity now for Redcliffe to really go on the attack. It was a very good defensive set of six by Toowoomba, the first set of six. Redcliffe didn't find it easy to get out of their own territory as they normally do. Big Troy Lindsay. You might think back to the first semi-final when Toowoomba ultimately gave Redcliffe a touch-up on the scoreboard. They led 22-0 at one stage. Redcliffe got it back to 22-8, and then had 3 tries disallowed by a millimetre each time. So there is nothing between these two sides as Luke Scott crawls forward and gets it up to 12 metres from the try line. Toowoomba moving up quickly. O'Dwyer down the blind side to Troy Lindsay. They do like to punch that blind side. They caused a lot of trouble to East last week doing exactly that. Up there to Burke. Burke out to Gould. Gould got a couple of plays in motion. Up to Adam Mogg, who juggles for a moment. The juggle was costly because it allowed the defence to get to him. Very quick play the ball on the fifth. Up there to Gould, crossfield kick, bit of pressure on here, but it's gone straight up in the air. Beautiful work by Hodges, attacking the football. Well, you've got to have ability, but you also got to have confidence, and Hodges has got both.
Oh, that was sensational work by Hodges. You could see him weigh it all up, timed his run to perfection, and took the ball magnificently. Running on the far side goes Wilson, close to the touchline. And now Chris Walker coming back infield for Toowoomba. Tackle about 15 short of the halfway. So the Toowoomba Clydesdales holding out Redcliffe. It was good, strong attack. And here goes the big man, Carl Webb. Might have been playing for the Broncos this weekend, but he's here with Toowoomba playing in a grand final, and I'm sure he's pleased to be there as well. And now Michael Ryan has taken it into Redcliffe's territory, and that's the 5th tackle. So what'll be the 5th tackle play here for Toowoomba as it goes back to Warwick, and the kick across field over the back of George Wilson. He's got a bit of work to do to get back there, and the ball will go across the dead ball line. But it was a well-weighted kick, and it certainly gave the Toowoomba guys an opportunity anyway of maybe coming up with a goal line dropout. Didn't quite work out that way. So Redcliffe in possession just outside their own 30, again using this short side. There's not too much room there. Richter's caught about 5 from halfway. Well, Craig O'Dwyer again was looking to the left, and he's got big Bob Campbell there. So the dummy to Campbell, and he keeps going and takes it into Toowoomba's territory. Good defence again from the Clydesdales, forcing O'Dwyer back onto that halfway line. Mogg is up at dummy half. This is Lindsay now. Good run by Troy Lindsay. The big forwards for Redcliffe have made some inroads early in the match. Gould with a kick over the top, not a bad one either. Sends the winger Adam Warwick on this side back, and Warwick is going to try and get it out in the field of play. Gould gives chase, couldn't quite get him. Will he make it? Yes, he does. Adam Warwick takes it out into the field of play with a good run, but he had to do a lot of work to get there.
He sure did, and Gould did his best. The old legs just couldn't get him there. There's a penalty going now to Toowoomba to relieve a bit of pressure, but great work from Adam Warwick. The young kid decided the only way to get out was to use all the pace he's got. And to Tony Gould's credit, the old legs just couldn't get him there. He was desperate to make the tackle. This is where the penalty has come from after the preceding run by Warwick, and Alex Wilson was the ball carrier. Toowoomba now to get it out of their own territory. No one really has threatened their opponent's try line yet. It's almost classic grand final stuff being played between the 20s. Big Carl Webb wrapped up. And they'll need to wrap him up too, because if he gets the hand free, he will pop it out the back door. They can't put him to the ground. They compare him with Arthur Beetson, and that's what Big Arthur used to do. Stand like a colossus with 3 players hanging off him. Jace Van Dyke, the right foot step, breaks the line, goes through. Tackle there by Adam Mogg. Good chance on the left-hand side. They're set there nicely. They go left as well. Up this time to Paul Warwick. Face ball up there nicely to Damon Kenny. Chance now inside the 20. Good sliding cover defence to shut him down. Chance on the blind side. They like to punch that way. Alex Wilson, big man, give him back.
I've got it here, let it go.
No easy tries at this stage. Chris Walker stumbles, fumbles. Under pressure, he's lost it. Change over. Good defence by Redcliffe. The first time anyone has had their backs to the wall, Redcliffe would not surrender.
Well, that was great defence. Mogg made a tremendous tackle on Van Dyke, and then John Olzard on his opposite number, but here's a steal of the ball.
Yeah, one-on-one, that's okay. Great chance for Toowoomba. Redcliffe unset. Corey Parker. Redcliffe have to scramble here. Don't stay on side, fellas. You just get offside. It doesn't matter. You can't concede a try at this stage. Pass out this time to Hodges. Steps back on the inside. Good sliding defence comes to Hodges. 3 men in the tackle.
Don't kick around. Get up.
Brent Tate points to the left. Fires it straight up there to Jace Van Dyke. Pass up to Darren Ingram. Ingram tackled. They've got 7 players on the left-hand side of the play. And that's where they're going to go. Jace Van Dyke comes across as well. Warwick, long pass will create something. The pass has gone through the legs of Alex Wilson. He's knocked it forward, back each time. No touch, though, by Redcliffe. Well, they were fortunate there, Toowoomba. That's more like it. Come forward. They're very keen to go wide. That is the 5th tackle. What have they got on here? Big play or the kick? Up to Warwick. Jace Van Dyke. Fires the pass up to Brent Tate. Numbers here. Back on the inside, Warwick. Oh, good defence again from Redcliffe. That's the changeover. Second time that Toowoomba have been caught in a changeover situation, but you can't blame them there because they were going for the try.
And that's why Redcliffe have been the #1 defensive team right throughout the season.
And obviously Toowoomba are indicating that they're going to run and attack the line as much as they possibly can. That's the way that they feel that they have the speed and the youth that they can do exactly that. Here goes James Hinchy. Good, strong run, but look at the defence of Toowoomba. So the youngsters out to match the more experienced men from Redcliffe in the defensive game as well. Bob Campbell works up a bit of pace, keeps on going, but Darren Ingram is around his legs and he can't go any further.
They're moving up very quick, Jerry, the Toowoomba side. That's been a feature so far. They realise these big Redcliffe forwards like to get a roll on. You must get them at the advantage line.
Adam Starr is on. You just saw him make a very good run. That kick, not such a good one from Gould across to Walker, who watches it down to his own 10-metre line, and then he'll haul it out from there. Tony Gould and James Hinchy, the two Redcliffe players who have played in all 4 grand finals involving the club. That's not a bad record. 3 previous grand finals that they've been involved in. They've only won 1, and both these teams have won a Queensland Cup. One of them will become the first team to win 2. So that's something to aim for indeed. Corey Parker, not too much room close to the touchline, but also close to the halfway. So they've worked it well forward. Dennis White at dummy half, not allowed to play the ball, and so the penalty goes to Toowoomba.
2 tackles in a row from Robert Campbell there, but he just went on with the second one too long.
Campbell didn't even look back at the referee. He knew he was a goner. Gee, that welt on James Hinchy's face doesn't look good. Right on the cheekbone. It is well and truly swollen.
And here comes Kerrod Walters.
Yeah, Kerrod takes the tap and Corey Parker runs straight at them. It was just a by-yourself run, make as much ground as you can, and they've still got an open ground to play with. They're using all the bench players. Nathan Friend, that is, just short of the 20. Walters now firing it away to Van Dyke, on to Warwick. Warwick has a man inside him, flicks it to Wyatt. Wyatt stepping away from 1, is caught on the 20-metre line.
Come back behind.
And again, Walters is in quickly, looking to the left, then to the right. It's going to go to the open side to Friend again.
Go for it, right here now.
Yeah, and the man moving up quickly looked like Fluggy for Redcliffe. Now Warwick, and he's set backwards too. Back to Walters, turned nicely back inside to Van Dyke. Across it goes to Friend, and Friend can't get through either. Tremendous defence from Redcliffe. That's the 5th tackle now. What can they do on this 5th tackle play? Warwick kicks into the in goal. He might have to be forced to play it. Oh, great patience there from Trent Lease. Watching the ball, he was under considerable pressure to put it down in the in goal. But the end result is that Redcliffe can take it to the 20 for the tap.
Let me tell you, Redcliffe needed this. They've been valiant in defence, but they could do without another set of 6 with their backs to the wall. They really do need to value possession here now and get it up the other end of the park. They haven't spent a lot of time in Toowoomba's territory.
And did you see the tackle from that man playing at Russell Layev a moment ago? What a crunching hit of a tackle it was. Mind you, some of his teammates are doing equally well, yet they are still not able to stop the ball moving through the hands of Toowoomba. Shows you how strong these young Toowoomba players are.
Strong and skillful.
And speaking of skill, 9 out of 9 completion rate so far for them.
Now look at that, Redcliffe 70% in their own half, 77% trapped in their own half. Is an interesting bounce, good chance for Redcliffe. Oh no, the pass! Damien Richter's tried to find George Wilson, and if Wilson had been where the pass was going, it could have been curtains. They had a little bit of cover coming, but because Richter's had to stop here and wait for it, he then flicks the ball up to Wilson, but didn't get a chance to just check where he was. That was a fantastic chance for Redcliffe, although they hadn't really earned it. That ball bounced awkwardly. Up to Justin Hodges, pass out to Alex Wilson. They're dangerous on the outside. Olzard comes across to get him from behind. Olzard, as I recall, did not play 2 weeks ago against Toowoomba, and Wilson had a field day, scored 2 tries. Olzard will stitch up that area of the park a lot better. Up to Corey Parker again. Toowoomba looking good.
We've already seen Wilson and Hodges look very dangerous for Toowoomba.
Kerrod Walters at dummy half, decides to run out of there because there was only 1 mark up to Jace Van Dyke. Fires the pass out to Brent Tate. He has to straighten. Again, the Redcliffe defence looks good. That's the 4th tackle. Kerrod Walters again out of the dummy half position. This will put him on the front foot with 1 tackle to go. 5th tackle. Jace Van Dyke has already pointed to the air. Takes it now, Van Dyke. Instead, it's the long pass. Fires it out to Warwick. Looks for a support. Out to Wilson. Put him on the outside beautifully. Alex Wilson can't get it away. Wilson mustn't have realised. And that's the 3rd time Toowoomba have been caught on their 6th tackle. There was no excuse for that one. Wilson should have been aware that the 6th tackle was on, and a relieving penalty now to the Dolphins.
And what a tackle it was from Trent Lease. He was up in his face, ball and all. He just had to make the tackle, and he also had to control the ball, and that was exactly what he did.
The Dolphins have got off the hook a few times here. Toowoomba haven't completed their sets. They've kicked dead a couple of times, been caught in possession a couple of times.
Troy Mitchell on the field for Redcliffe. Oh, big tackle there from Damon Keating. So it's a grand final, okay. There's no doubt about that. Adam Starr makes it just short of the halfway line. Mitchell at dummy half, offloading the pass now to Danny Burke. And Redcliffe have taken it into Toowoomba's territory. They haven't spent a lot of time down there. Can they set up a good set of 6 close to the line as Hinchy changes direction? Has good support too, and they're 35 metres out from the line. Mitchell looking for the good quick play the ball. Gould now across to outside Adam Morgan on to Barry Denduck, back inside the Richters, and he takes the tackle 25 metres out from the line. Redcliffe starting to look good now. Tony Gould, the pass was behind him, so high kick once again. Justin will wait for this. Justin Hodges, and takes it well. He didn't go flying through the air like he did on that spectacular take we saw a little earlier in the match, but this time showing the patience and waiting. And Adam Warwick now takes the tackle for Toowoomba on their own 20-metre line. No scorers yet in the grand final. Plenty of sorting out. Plenty of movement of the ball as Wilson again tries to push off Lease, but Lease is doing a tremendous job over there. Gets it back then to Dennis White in support. White was looking to offload, couldn't quite do so. Kerrod Walters now fires the pass away, and again Toowoomba make good ground early, just 5 metres short of the halfway. Damon Keating takes the tackle. Back it goes to Ingram, and then away to Justin Hodges again, and he's taken it into Redcliffe's territory. It's Carl Webb actually.
Lost it.
Yeah, Webb's lost the ball. Redcliffe come up with it.
What a great steal that was. Fancy taking the ball off Carl Webb. Webb was intent to try and look around for offloads and not concentrating enough on ball retention.
You'd have to have a bit of strength, wouldn't you, to be able to do it?
Well, you definitely would, because he's a very strong player. Out of dummy half now, Adam Mogg. Haven't seen a lot of Mogg, but he's got the ability to turn a game. Barry Denduck, that was off the boot. Up this time to Gould, face ball up here to Hinchy. He's lost it as well. Kerrod Walters pilfers the ball. Fires the long pass out. Alex Wilson with a bit of room to move again. He's dynamite in this situation. Back on the inside to Walker. He's lost the ball. Redcliffe have got a hold of it, and they've got a chance to counter-attack. Down a blind side, Olzard.
Come back. Keep coming.
Johnny Olzard to play it. Up this time to Barry Denduck. Little pass up this time. I think it was to... it wasn't Mogg.
Dennis, let him go now. Hands off.
Quick play the ball to go on with the job. There's Denduck again. Looks to be inhibited by that knee injury. Gould bumps out of Jace Van Dyke's tackle, and Van Dyke's down. Head clash there for the young halfback. He has not got back up. The trainer, I think, will call for assistance pretty quickly here. Here's Big Bob Campbell down a blind side. Campbell surging toward the line. Just cut down. Good tackle by Warwick. George Wilson, long pass out to Gill. Flicks through the hands to Warwick. Up there to Denduck. Steps on the outside. Good chance. It's wide now. Out there to Olzard. Beautifully out to Trent Lease. What a try by the Dolphins. One side of the field to the other. We saw them do it last week. This is not easy to get the ball from one corner post to the other. And take a lot of credit here, Tony Gould. Pressure was coming for him. He was the first receiver, and he just flicked it over his head. And then Barry Denduck searched to the right.
Yeah, and there goes Denduck with his searching run. Fires the pass out wide, and beautiful quick hands immediately to Lease, because he was the man who was in the open, and all he had to do was head for the line. By the time the defence got there, he was through. It was a good run by Bobby Campbell. It was really good work by George Wilson, racing into a dummy half. Then they flung it across, and this is Denduck, drawing defender after defender, creating the overlap, and then the pass out wide from Olzard onto Lease, and Lease puts it down for the try. Fantastic work by Redcliffe.
Yeah, nice work from Redcliffe. You can see Gould just pop it on. Nice work from Adam Mogg too. And then Denduck with the awareness. Knew he had to get onto the outside. And Alex Wilson was in a bit of trouble because caught on the inside there and quickly through the hands. Trent Lease didn't have his opposing winger in Walker to combat. And Trent Lease, the son of Peter Lease, who played in the Redcliffe 70s sides with great distinction, and played for Queensland. Trent Lease, a young flyer, needed a bit of pace to get across, but the work was done on the inside. Fine work from Redcliffe. When they got their chance down this end of the park, they did have a player down, Toowoomba, and that was Jace Van Dyke. So they were one down, and can Damien Richters convert from not his preferred side, but he has been in great form with the boot this year, Richters, and in good form all round. He hooks it around, hits the uprights, and bounces away. Well, this will be a game of millimetres, and there's one indication.
Well, Toowoomba have had all of the territory, but the first try goes to the Redcliffe boys. Through the hands brilliantly. Denduck escapes one, escapes another, goes across for looking for support. Alex Wilson was outnumbered because his winger Warwick had moved inside. Wilson found himself outnumbered on the wing, and in goes Trent Lees. Great football by Redcliffe. Certainly the problem for Toowoomba. They're one short with Van Dyke down, and Darren Matt, by the way, is getting stitches in the head.
So the kick-off again, and now Redcliffe, they'd be buoyed by that. They'd certainly be out there to ensure that they make amends for that major semi-final when they admit themselves that they were very disappointing. Adam Mogg caught just inside his own 30. O'Dwyer uses them on the short side. Luke Scott. The defence is up quickly. Walters was over the top, and also involved in the tackle was Neil White. Here goes George Wilson, running across field, pushing off White, but in the end didn't make a lot of forward ground. Now, the kick ahead by Richters. He'll follow this through. He's in them with a chance of regathering Richters as Hodges is able to dive on the ball, but Richters is on him immediately. And now it takes a while for Toowoomba to get organised here. Nathan Friend hit solidly.
Burke has got him. He's going to get penalised too. Burke came across very strongly. Danny Burke.
We're going in for the big hit, but he
think it was. Let's have another look at it before I form my final opinion. Yeah, I didn't think it was. Well, he certainly got him above the shoulder, but you're right, Warren. He was on his way down.
Well,
penalty is warranted.
Well, I don't know, David. I mean, look, the player's coming in to make a hard tackle, and the man with the ball is buckled at the knee, so he's only chest high. I think there's an element of bad luck, and that shouldn't be a penalty, in my opinion.
All the way back.
Certainly, he caught him high, but what are you supposed to do when the bloke buckles at the knees in front of you? You're aiming for a chest-high tackle.
Yeah, it's split-second stuff now. Nathan Friend knocks it on. Well, Toowoomba can't afford to surrender possession to the experience of Redcliffe.
Not only that there were a number of changes of possession, partly through steals, partly through drop ball in the lead up to the first Redcliffe try.
Heads in.
Kerrod Walters and Bob Campbell there, a little bit of pushing and shoving, two of the old war horses. This time old Zard, he's taken the ground. Redcliffe don't take any chances from the base of the scrum there. This time Luke Scott, three players get to him, pops the ball out the back nicely. Troy Mitchell gets up over the halfway line. Redcliffe looking sharp. This time Hinchy cuts away from the defence, but the second man over the top, Tate, has been caught offside, and this will get a roll on for the Dolphins. Touch judge coming on now to report.
Zipping the last tackle, rolled him over off the ball.
We've heard.
Having a look at it later.
Okay. We've seen Redcliffe get inside Toowoomba's territory, deep inside, from my recollection, only once, and had the skill to get it from one side of the field to the other to score the try. But this will allow Toowoomba to set, and I'd be surprised if Toowoomba can't hold their ground here. Troy Lindsay takes them on. Very short line again from Toowoomba. They've only got two on the other side of the uprights. This time Danny Burke, couple of settlers. Let's see what they've got in order. Gould sees the gap on the outside. There's 30 metres on that far side. Out of dummy half goes O'Dwyer, almost gets away. Well, Gould still eyeing that gap on the outside. There's a 15 to 20 metre gap to the outside man. Troy Lindsay's a huge gap there. Lindsay, the big man across. Well, what were Toowoomba thinking? The gap was enormous there near the uprights. They had gaps everywhere for that matter. And Troy Lindsay just spotted it and used his strength to bustle through the attempted tackles.
Well, the power and the strength and the experience of Redcliffe are starting to pay in the last couple of minutes. And here we see the run by Troy Lindsay. Now look at the strength he shows. He's still short of the line there, reaches out, and despite the fact he's got three men hanging on to him, comes up with a try. Good bulking, finishing work. And there, Mitchell, or Denduck rather, firing the pass to him. Corey Parker fell off the tackle. And with Kerrod Walters and Dennis White hanging on, he's able to cart them across the line and come up with a most important try. And now the lack of experience in the Toowoomba lineup could be a telling factor in this match now that Redcliffe have started it well. The youngsters have to ensure that they stay in the game. They've got to come back with another try, and the experience of Kerrod Walters will be absolutely vital out there.
And did you see that was Troy Lindsay's first try of the season, only his third in his career. What a time to score one.
Chris, don't lean on the post, mate.
That's for sure. Damien Richters, this conversion is a whole lot easier. And he can put Redcliffe well out in front. He's kicked that one okay. Up go the flags, and it's 10-0 in favour of Redcliffe.
Back-to-back penalties against Toowoomba set them back on their heels, and well, there was an opportunity out wide, but there was certainly some space in front of Troy Lindsay, and he set himself to crack that hole. Goes through the tackle of Corey Parker, wasn't able to hold him, nor could the other Toowoomba player there. And Troy Lindsay, no wonder they're overjoyed.
Jace Van Dyke still off the field for Toowoomba. I think Dennis White was playing somewhere around the half-back position and really didn't put himself in a position to take the big man. A small man like White, you can't throw an arm out there. You've got to put your body on the line.
And David, if you remember, there were 3 men required to pull down Craig O'Dwyer on the dash earlier, and that thins out the defence.
Yeah, they were really sparse, and Redcliffe, and in particular Lindsay, took advantage of it. He nearly dropped that Olzard. Out of dummy half comes Richters.
I can add something to that as well, and that's the fact that Bob Campbell was on the left in that play, the ball on the blind side, and he could well have crashed his way across as well.
Yeah, well, there's big Bob Campbell. This could be his swan song year for Campbell, and he'd like nothing more than to go with a premiership. O'Dwyer decides just a little knockdown kick. They'll take touch and they'll take a breather, and that's not bad thinking from the experienced side. The young fellas will have plenty of youthful legs. They've had a break last week, whereas there's O'Dwyer, kicks it into the ground and causes it to bounce up. Warwick was never tempted to play at it. Ryan is now playing half-back, and Kerrod would be, I'm sure, at dummy half and hooker. Completion rates will be interesting. 11 from 14 Toowoomba and 9 from 11, so both sides are right up there. Toowoomba's had a little bit more ball, but haven't been able to do what Redcliffe have done. Damon Keating. They won't want to do anything silly though, Toowoomba. They've got enough firepower to score a stack of points. They don't have to panic by any means.
But that's the question, isn't it, David? This is where Redcliffe wanted to be, in front, and put the question to the young, inexperienced Toowoomba players to maintain their patience, to realise the game goes for 80 minutes.
Yeah, it's a real test now of your mental capacity. Warwick inside his 40, left-footed kick was never going to find touch. It's not a bad knockdown. It's between players, and Lease picks it up. He'll do well if he gets out over his 20, but he can't do that. He gets only just out over the 10.
And Darren Mack with the advantage right around the legs. There's a break is made here by Adam Mogg. So 25 metres out from his own line, he'll play the ball. And Redcliffe bringing it forward efficiently and effectively. This is Danny Burke. But again, there's some enthusiastic tackling, and Darren Ingram's done a lot of tackling for the Toowoomba boys. Here's big Bob Campbell, and the experience of Kerrod Walters going straight for the ball there. He knew that Bob Campbell can offload and ensure there was one way of stopping him. Now Luke Scott caught on the halfway mark, and that's the 5th tackle for Redcliffe. Where's Gould? There he is. The little kick from just inside the halfway, straight into the arms though of Adam Warwick. So Adam Warwick, he's met. Very good tackle there from Craig O'Dwyer, right up on him.
Jerry, as you called Kerrod Walters a little while ago, he also was involved there racing up quickly on Gould to put pressure on him, and that's why Gould didn't get the kick that he wanted. Straight to Warwick, and now Toowoomba with a chance to get down the other end. Justin Hodges not happy with the attention that he copped there, and Redcliffe are dishing it out.
Now Webb caught just short of the halfway. Van Dyke turning it nicely back inside there to Darren Matt. So 5 metres into Redcliffe's territory, and Toowoomba still looking for their first try. Patience is the name of the game, as Warren was pointing out. Jace Van Dyke. That's not a bad run. He's picked up 10 metres or so. Takes a while to play the ball, gives them a bit of time to get organised, but that's the 5th tackle. So it's the kick from Paul Warwick, and he's going to put a high up and under speculator, but there's plenty of time for Mogg. And he is able to take the ball comfortably, and now taking the tackle on his own team.
Not good tactics there from Toowoomba. When you put up a midfield bomb from about 33 metres out, you want all your players on side so they can get down and contest it. Instead, they're all in front of Warwick. It was a nothing kick. Redcliffe were never under pressure. Russell Laif now gets it to the 30.
Toowoomba are moving up quickly in defence, but there's some good power being shown by these Redcliffe forwards. They continue to make momentum even when the tacklers hit them.
Up to Gould. Gould's going to kick early in the tackle count. This is interesting. They want to put Toowoomba back. Walker's under a bit of pressure. Lease has hurried up quickly. And Chris Walker's got nowhere to go because Olzard's there to help Lease out.
And there's some interchanging going on that far side between Chris Walker and Alex Wilson as to who's in the centre and who plays wing. They're switching around.
There's Wilson running out of dummy half. Tries to use a bit of his bulk against Adam Starr. Justin Hodges tries to dummy, goes up the middle. Hodges got the hand free but decides not to offload. He's a danger man, Justin Hodges. Could have been a second tackle there. Up to Corey Parker. If they can keep it alive, pops it back on the inside nicely to Jace Van Dyke. Threw it straight to George Wilson. Wilson tries to stand up Tate, but can't. Goes back on the inside, but Toowoomba, well, they're just not going on with the job. You've got to build up your attack. You can't try and score from every half break. And they wouldn't want to fall for that trap.
Adam Mogg goes to dummy half. Across the halfway go Redcliffe, and again, good defence. Redcliffe, Toowoomba moving up very effectively. Mitchell's allowed to run, though. They've got to be careful. And he's caught 35 out. Mogg up to dummy half. Gould now, the first receiver. He's going to run straight to the defensive line and then offload to Henchy. And they've gone inside the 30. Redcliffe building up again. Can they score another try? They've got 2 already and lead by 10 points to 0. Nice little kick over the top. White chasing this back. Oh, it's going to hold up an in-goal area. It's played out by White, and there'll be a goal line dropout. What's he got? A try to Mitchell. It's a try.
No, it's gone into touch. Oh, how lucky is he? How lucky is...
Barry Denduck, of course, was the man who dived on the loose ball.
Dennis White must have known, Jerry. You could only give him the benefit of the doubt here that he knew he'd gone into touch. He knocked the ball back there. Was he driven into touch here before he flicks the ball? Oh, yes, foot on the touch line, but I don't think he knew. Foot on the dead ball line. So the decision is taken dead by the defending side. Denduck thought all his Christmases had come at once. The ball, they're going to check the video here. And I think they'll find that he did have his foot on the line. So they're using the technology available to them in this final series. And we'll just wait now until we get the final all clear. Let's have a look at it from behind. He's being pushed back. It's interesting, you know, that I don't believe he realised his foot had gone out. And it is definitely out, and therefore he's taken it into touch. One last look to be sure. And he then throws it. He thought he was going to try and find Hodges. Now, you can't be offside in your own in-goal area, but you also cannot intentionally pass the ball forward. So if he'd have thrown it to Hodges and it was still play on, as the officials still wait, we must have a communication problem now.
I can't believe Dennis White thought he could throw a pass in this position and in any way that it would go backwards.
Well, that's right. Once you're this far back.
I can only think he thought that the tackle, he'd succumbed in the tackle was completed and wanted to get back to the 20 or something like. I don't know what he was thinking.
It's dead, so there'll be a goal line dropout. But he could have passed it. You can't be offside in your own in-goal area, but you cannot intentionally pass the ball forward. So he would have got penalised had it been field of play or still play on, and Hodges had have taken it. Adam Starr up the middle. That's the 31-metre mark there. Troy Mitchell up to Russell Laith.
If Redcliffe score again, Toowoomba will be in a bit of trouble.
They'll be in a lot of trouble. Troy Mitchell up there to Luke Scott. Toowoomba must hold on here. It's not the be-all and end-all this game, but it's going to make a big difference. Gould plays in motion. Little pass up to Adam Mogg. Goes on the outside. Nice work, Mogg. Terrible attempted tackle there on Adam Mogg as he waltzes his way backfield. Well, Toowoomba may as well pack up their bags if they're not going to make tackles. Gould, the long pass, creates an opportunity. White takes Wilson. Tate helped as well. Up there to Gould on the last tackle, just knocks it down in the in-goal area. Hodges will get out of there. This is money for jam for Justin Hodges, although he gets plenty of attention. Toowoomba, very important, quick play the balls, run out of dummy half and get out of here. They've been under too much pressure for too long. Quick play the balls they want, and they're not getting them at the moment. Hodges, the one-handed pick-up. Well, I thought O'Dwyer was offside there. A couple of runs out of dummy half is the right idea, but you've got to get quick play the balls. They're perilously slow. Third run out of dummy half. Good work for Ryan. That's safety first. There's got to be a penalty coming shortly with the attention going in to play the balls. Darren Ingham throws the dummy. Pops the pass up. They made a mistake again. Walker's knocked it on. He kicks it in frustration well out over the touchline. And he's going to get a little bit of lecturing for this. Well, I don't know whether this is necessary.
But that's an important word you've used, frustration, and the youth of the Toowoomba team need to be very wary of becoming too frustrated in this grand final, because they've still got every chance of winning the grand final, despite the fact that Redcliffe have come up with the first 2 tries.
I think Tony McSurge's done them a favour there. He might have just calmed them down a little. From a Redcliffe point of view, they just want the panic to continue.
Hinchy offloads to Barry Denduck and out to George Wilson, but he's well covered by Hodges. So again, Hodges covering that right wing for Toowoomba as the pass goes back inside to Luke Scott. This is better defence from Toowoomba. First couple of tackles, and Redcliffe haven't made a lot of ground. Russell Layhiff now. That's the 30-metre line. Troy Mitchell on the short side. Wilson will try to run around the defence and goes into touch.
He beat the first man. He's causing a bit of havoc on this left wing, although Wilson's limping now. He had a bit of trouble with a hamstring in the game last week, and he may have just given it a bit of a stretch there. Nice little brush first up, and then strong cover defence in the end by, I think, Tate.
But that was what Toowoomba were looking for Redcliffe to break down. No finishing of the set that time.
Carl Webb standing out of the scrum, so what did Redcliffe do? Put two players directly opposite him. Why wouldn't you? He was always going to be the spearhead. Walker tries to get a penalty. Up there to Michael Ryan. He's dangerous in the middle of the ruck. Michael Ryan, good dash there to get it up over the 40. Now the quick play, the ball will put him under pressure. Down the blind side. Jace Van Dyke looks for support, throws the dummy in. Trouble, Jace. Here comes the touchline. Over the touchline. Well, they just aren't playing smart, Toowoomba. They're playing with enthusiasm. They're playing with plenty of desire, but they're not playing smart.
To be fair here, Van Dyke was taken initially in the tackle about 8 metres infield. It's the determination of the defence here that's driven him towards the line. Look at them go.
Yeah, that's an example of why Redcliffe are the best defensive team in the competition. Look at that. Strength and power, and frustrating the opposition by such solid defence. Now Dwyer offloading the pass to Luke Scott. And across the halfway go the Dolphins again. They've started to dominate territory well and truly now. Russell Layhiff picks up almost 10 again for them. O'Dwyer showing the ball this time to Hinchy and keeping going.
Let it go.
They're 35 out and on the attack once more. So it's putting a lot of pressure on the youngsters from Toowoomba. As Denduck fires it away to Campbell, he's lost it forward and it's grabbed by Van Dyke for Toowoomba. So Toowoomba get the ball, 15 in their own territory. Can they do something with this set of 6? Corey Parker.
You said it in one, Joe. They've got to use the 6. They've got to get a kick on the end of this and put Redcliffe back on their heels.
Darren Ingram offloads it. Well, this is Ingram rather. And he's tackled still sort of the halfway. So the defence of Redcliffe is good all over the paddock. It's not only when they're down near their own line. And there again, you can see that all the talented players that the Toowoomba Clydesdales have, as Parker takes it forward. Brent Tate there earlier searching, looking for an opportunity. He has speed, but again, he just couldn't get through this solid defence. This is Darren Matt now. And they're 35 out, and that's the 5th tackle. Van Dyke to dummy half. It looks like they're going to run the ball again, and Corey Parker knocks on. Well, they just haven't been able to finish off their sets of 6 in the way that puts some pressure on Redcliffe. And as a result, Redcliffe have rarely been under pressure on their own line.
Not playing like a well-oiled machine, Toowoomba. They're just look a little bit rusty to me. That preceding play there, when Darren Mapp ended up in the back line, it really stifled some opportunities that were on the outside. Luke Scott takes on Paul Warwick.
Leave the ball alone. Let him go on the left.
Redcliffe have used their big men to run at the little men.
That's all right, on 4, let it go.
Danny Burke.
Wait.
Lining up to play it.
Don't touch each other.
Big Bob Campbell takes on
tackle on
the
your
line.
Feet, let him go.
Michael Ryan must feel like he's a tackling bag at the moment. They've run at him all the time. Barry Denduck, little one in behind the line. Picked up nicely by Warwick, though. Tries a little fancy footwork.
That's one good turn.
Now can they work it out of there and get a kick on the end of it? Flashing through comes Adam Warwick. That's a good little run too.
Keep coming on the left.
Justin Hodges, another good run. They're offside, these guys. Hodges, ankle tapped. Good ankle tap it was too by O'Dwyer. Kerrod Walters up to Corey Parker. That's better from the Clydesdales. Finally got a roll on. Well, they're getting away with murder in the tackles. Redcliffe in the hold downs. Ingram up there to Map. He copped a very heavy knock, and you can see the strapping on the head to go along with it. Walters up there to Warwick. Puts the kick up this time. Were they onside? Yes, the touch judge signals. And I see underneath it goes Mogg. No one wanted to tackle him, though. They all ran past him. Warwick had different ideas. It's an upending tackle. Well, a little bit of pushing and shoving, but I think it'll die down pretty quickly. Mogg is not happy with the tackle.
Go.
A penalty going to Redcliffe.
But this is not what the Clydesdales needed. They needed to apply some pressure. They finally had Redcliffe down on their own line. They just needed some good defence to hold them, not to give away a penalty. This is a one-on-one tackle. Interested to see just how bad this really was.
He went past that parallel. It's dangerous. You put him in a dangerous tackle. Just get him down, eh? 3. I want 3. 3.
Brent Tate now being called out.
3.
Let's have a look at their tackle by Warwick. Yeah, well, it was certainly upending.
But he never had his hand between the legs. He never lifted as such. I think there was just a lot of momentum about that tackle. Okay. Look, David, this spear tackle, I know it's dangerous, but people have got to realise it's a contact game. There's a lot of momentum involved in a tackle. 2 players going in different directions, and sometimes a player's legs are going to go above the horizontal. I think everyone's getting a bit carried away with it.
I think what's got to happen, Warren, is that they've got to start doing drills at training that because players will get caught in that position, you're right, but I think they've got to do drills now to make sure you hold them up. Don't drop them like some players are doing now. You certainly never drive. But he's dropped that on. He's knocked it on, O'Dwyer. I really think that you're right. The players are going to get in those awkward positions, but I reckon the next drill to come will be then you do not allow it to go on. You actually hold them in the air and put them back down right way up.
Yeah, well, that might be the way to go about it. But Craig O'Dwyer with a bad mistake here opens the door just before half-time.
Yeah, 3 minutes up to half-time too. Great chance for Toowoomba. They dearly need some points. This is a terrible scrum. Jace Van Dyke just gets a hold of it.
Come back all the way.
Well, they did want to go on from there, but instead they've gone backwards. Brent Tate.
2, roll, now, Luke.
Tate to play. Kieran Walters wants them to wrap to the left. He's got Darren Mapp coming forward. This will put the Dolphins under a bit of unusual pressure. Set again on the left. Up this time to Warwick. He'll go to the line. Little grubber kick through. Trent leads back nicely. Turned and chased. Got back there, recovered. But it will be a goal line dropout. And it'll be a good 2.5 minutes up to half-time.
Yeah, it gives Toowoomba another set of 6 before the half-time break, and if they can get in here, well, then they're well and truly in the grand final. Not to suggest that they're out of it even at 10-0, if that were to be the score at half-time. Referee Tony Maxsood just calling time off for a moment, probably for the ball to arrive. And a ball will drop out.
Yeah, the Clydesdales would dearly love to score here to put themselves back in the game, but they at least need to finish this half well.
Yeah, it's going.
Warwick takes the ball, and Corey Parker will cart it forward. Good, strong run. Up to the 20 goes Parker, and he's still alive. Finally brought to ground there.
Hold on the mark,
So they're 20 out. Can they finish the first half with a try? This is Neil Wyatt. Searching run by Wyatt, and gets almost there. Stop just short of the line. What a terrific run by Neil Wyatt. Kieran Walters swings it back to Jace Van Dyke. Losing ground, though, as it goes to Darren Mapp. Suddenly there's an opening as Mapp steps back inside. That might have been touched by Redcliffe. It's a penalty to the Clydesdales.
Take the tap.
And they've taken it already. Oh, Jace Van Dyke wasn't ready for it. Redcliffe come up with the ball. That's another penalty. Offside.
Take the 2 now.
See, mate, lucky that's not off.
Well, what's Kieran Walters going to do? He was looking for the quick penalty, and now he's complaining about the fact that the ball was thrown away. He was very keen to have the quick tap and get it on with the game and see if they could come up with a quick try, and still they're going to take it. This is old-fashioned Broncos stuff now. Van Dyke changes the direction. Can he get through that gap? No, James Hinchy's able to grab him and the ball and force him backwards eventually. So they're 8 metres out from the line. The Clydesdales want to try before the half-time break. Takes a while for the ball to be played. Now across field it goes to Darren Ingram. And the defence is there. Troy Lindsay taking him ball and all. Plenty of Clydesdales on the left. Walters sends it out in that direction to Warwick. Turn back inside here. It's Justin Hodges. And Hodges has scored the try underneath the goal post.
Hold everything. Video.
Well, Hodges is the big-time player. Well,
fantastic work though by Warwick, Jerry, to set this up for Hodges.
Redcliffe player was taken out.
Redcliffe player taken out. He wants it checked out. Well, this could be sensational. Redcliffe player taken out. Let's have a look. There was one dummy runner. There's the dummy runner by Webb. He wasn't taken out at all. The Toowoomba player was tackled without the ball. Justin Hodges through the middle. That's a fair try for mine, and a very good one at that. Carl Webb was the decoy. He didn't take anyone out. He was barreled.
Got that, Dennis?
And now Warwick, with all the confidence in the world, setting up to take the shot for goal. Surely they're going to award a try here.
I agree with you, David. It's just a beautiful play, isn't it? The pass on the inside, but not to the man you think's going to get the ball, the big fellow Webb. Instead, it's Hodges, and no one's going to stop him.
Play on. Got to be a try. Got to be a try for mine, and we've got a ball game on our hands. And it was a good try as well. Let's have a look at a good set piece. They finally got a set piece going after nothing going on. They've just taken the wrong man there. And Hodges, look at this footwork. Step back inside, went sideways around about 1.5 meters with one of those side steps, and then straightened up. Great work. There's the try. The Clydesdales are back in the match right on half-time.
Oh, absolutely. 10-4, and from right in front, Paul Warwick can make it 10-6. Warren.
And Redcliffe should really look back on the tackles they missed on Neil Wyatt. He put them in this position.
Conversion attempt from Warwick is successful, and at half-time it's 10-6 in favour of Redcliffe over the Toowoomba Clydesdales.
Yeah, there he is, Hodges finishing it off, but a lot of problems there for Redcliffe in those last few moments. They missed a lot of tackles and could easily have given away, put a man in the sin bin as well for delaying tactics. But here it is, a lovely pass back on the inside, set play. They had plenty of time to think about it in the end, Toowoomba, and they set it up beautifully, executed it perfectly, and this will put them not just back in the scoreboard, back on the scoreboard in the match, but in their own minds. They suddenly know we can compete. We're in this game.
Well, Justin Hodges is the playmaker. He's the one who can step, and they kept him in a special position, and he finished it off magnificently. So after 40 minutes of the grand final, there are only 4 points in it. Redcliffe leading Toowoomba by 10 points to 6. We'll be back shortly and look at the highlights of that first half.
To expectation, but Warren, they desperately needed that try right on half-time.
They absolutely did, because their confidence must have been starting to sag, and by contrast, Redcliffe were growing in confidence and playing a pretty good brand of football. Really, Redcliffe have been on top for 30 out of the 40 minutes. The first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes belonged to Toowoomba.
Yeah, and on the scoreboard, Redcliffe has still got the advantage. Let's have a look at statistics from the first half. That'll be pretty interesting. We see their possession not greatly different, and even time and a half now is starting to balance up. It's been a high standard game, and really you can have a look at those stats. Not a great deal in it.
No penalties, 6-3 in Toowoomba's way there. But, you know, really, you look at it and the possession's been pretty evenly shared, the amount of work evenly shared. I just think it's control of the ball that's making the big difference out there. We've seen the possession stolen a few times, we've seen it dropped a few times, and it did appear that Redcliffe were going to make the most of those opportunities, and they made 2 of them stick. A leading 10-0, they would love to have gone in with that lead.
Oh, they would have been very confident at 10-0, but instead it's 10-6. Let's have a look at the first try.
10-6 at half-time in favour of Redcliffe, and that try right on half-time, absolutely vital. They're the city of Brisbane, so close to these rugby league headquarters, proud headquarters indeed, and there's a big advantage in having your football stadium close to the city. And of course, this park will be redeveloped. We've had other grand finals today in the ARL Foundation Cup for schools. St Mary's of Toowoomba defeated Bundaberg North by 12 points to 10. In the Colts, North Victoria's 32-14, and in A grade, East beat Logan by 28 to 10. Second half ready to start. Off we go. 40 minutes to determine who wins the Queensland Cup of 2000, and it's the Toowoomba boys in possession. A run across the far side there by Neil Wyatt and up almost to the 20-metre line, and I'm sure that at half-time they would have reflected on the fact that the game for a while wasn't looking good for them, but now they're well and truly back into it. Darren Matt straightens up. Good run from him. And of course, Toowoomba have the young legs, which will be so handy for them. Kerrod Walters, the experience there as well, as Brent Tate crosses the halfway line for Toowoomba. So it's been a good set so far. Now they'd like to finish it off well. They didn't finish all their sets of 6 all that well in the first half, and perhaps that's something that Ivan Henjak would have looked at as well at half-time. As the ball is played now, and Walters fires it across to Warwick. Inside Redcliffe's territory, kicks downfield, but Trent Lease has it covered comfortably. And again, they didn't finish it all that effectively. Peter Nolan, the assistant coach of Toowoomba Clydesdales, is down on the sideline with Warren Boland.
Peter, just before half-time, Jace Van Dyke was hurt. How is he?
He's not real good, Warren. We're just assessing him at the moment, but I'll be surprised if he comes back.
Head knock?
Yeah, he's had the head knock. He's got 2, actually. He had one early in the game and one late in the first half.
So he'll go to half in 5/8.
Mick Ryan's at half-back now, and Kerrod's on at hooker.
Okay, what did Ivan say to them at half-time?
Well, we're just very disappointed that we haven't gone forward up the middle. You've got to earn the right to go wide, and we haven't earned that right yet.
They started well, then started making a few mistakes and looked rattled.
Yeah, well, we might, we missed that game last week. Maybe the boys are showing a sign of a few nerves, but we just got to settle down and get through some sets and go forward.
Do you think that they're feeling confident, scoring just before half-time?
Yeah, well, I think it was 38 minutes into the game before we got a repeat set, so obviously we'll be aiming to get a few more of them in the second half.
Talk about the lack of go forward. Do you think Redcliffe are holding you down too long?
They're slowing us down, but I mean, they haven't been penalised for it, so it mustn't be illegal.
All right, Peter, all the best.
Thanks, Warren.
Peter Nolan. That's an interesting way of putting it. As Kerrod Walters darts from dummy half and offloads to Hodges, the try scorer, and he's made another break. Up almost to the halfway goes Justin Hodges before he's sprung to the ground. Walters again, ready to keep this momentum going. Away to Corey Parker and into Redcliffe's territory they go, and Darren Mack's in a hole now. He's got to support out wide too. Slips the pass away to Neil Wyatt, and they're just 20 metres out from the line. Can they finish the way they started they'll start the second half the way they finished the first, as it goes out to Warwick, and the kick over the top goes easily to George Wilson, and that diffuses a little bit of pressure there for Redcliffe, and the Redcliffe coach Neil Wharton is down on the sideline with Warren.
Neil, you led 10-0, but we can see that Toowoomba are coming back. You're really in a grand final here.
Yeah, it's been a good game, hasn't it?
Yeah, but you'd rather be coasting away rather than finding the Toowoomba guys. They haven't buckled. They are ready to come back.
Oh, yeah, they're a good football side. We did well to get 10-0 and we missed one tackle, and we had made an error from dummy half there, which, it was a bit of a bad call, I thought, in the sense that, he should have had possession and held on to it a little bit better than he did. And, they've taken the opportunity.
Now your forwards are going strongly for you?
Yeah, we were asking for it to go a lot better than that, though. They started off pretty tentative, and then they got the next 20 minutes, I think they did very well. But, obviously this first 10 is important to us.
And what tactics did you call for in the second half as Toowoomba put it down? Justin Hodges making a mistake.
Well, that helps, doesn't it? But, look, we just said to them that we're not, in the last 10 minutes we started to get a little bit fancy, and what we've got to do is just keep to our game plan and not worry about trying to create something that may not be there. We've just got to take the opportunity when it comes.
They're all okay?
Yeah, mate, they're fine. They're great.
All right, good luck, Neil.
Thanks very much.
Neil Wharton, the Redcliffe coach, and well, it looked like something was on there for the Clydesdales with that run by Walker at top pace, and Hodges alongside him, but the mistake coming as Hodges put the ball down, and they might pay for it because Redcliffe in possession, 25 out.
Walker was almost through himself as well. Bit of silly stuff in the play the ball. Adam Mogg is living up in that area now. Makes another good 10 metres into dummy half. O'Dwyer, good wrapping run here by Luke Scott. Oh, that's high. It's gone unchallenged. They're set on the right end. O'Dwyer, the dummy! Craig O'Dwyer! The experience of the little hooker shows the dummy. They had some good wrapping players coming to the right-hand side. It opened up like Sydney Heads. They really had punched down this right-hand side. There'll be a caution on the run now, or a caution for number 12 in Neil Wyatt for the high tackle. But have a look at this open up. Dummy runners down one side. Away go Toowoomba. O'Dwyer steps back. The gap was there. He goes low and hard. Kerrod couldn't stop him. He only just gets that down too, O'Dwyer. Kerrod was hoping that perhaps it hadn't touched the grass. Have a look at this open up. Nice step past the referee, but he didn't inhibit anybody. Kerrod came in from the left-hand side but couldn't stop him. The momentum was too strong. The gap was too wide. And O'Dwyer has hit back after Toowoomba created an opportunity from the kick downfield. As Jerry said, Chris Walker had created a half a chance for Justin Hodges. I even think Walker could have gone himself. There was almost a gap for both of them, but instead passed to Hodges. He dropped the ball, and Redcliffe have hit back like a good side they are. Early minutes of the second half, they've taken their chances. Again, they are deadly from close to the try line. Damien Richters can get it back to a 10-point lead, and probably should from this position. Hits it nicely, pushes it though. He's pushed it to the right-hand side. 14-6 in favour of the Dolphins.
Craig O'Dwyer's taken the odds to it. If he hadn't scored this try, they might have been wishing that he'd passed the ball with the overlap out wide, but he realised that Rob Campbell was attracting 2 or 3 defenders. He opened up the space on the inside and dives through it, hurdles through it. Craig O'Dwyer is a very cunning dummy half player. But that was good refereeing by Tony Maxud. He could have stopped play for the high tackle. He let it go, played advantage, and it resulted in a Redcliffe try.
And did you see the enthusiasm of Bob Campbell when he saw O'Dwyer go over? Here he goes now, the big man, playing his last rugby league match, and very, very keen to go out a winner. He's been so entertaining for our regular viewers of the Queensland Cup because he's such a fantastic player to watch, and you really hope for his sake that they are able to do that.
And of course, Jerry, Rob Campbell suffered the bitter taste of defeat playing for West when Norths beat them in the grand final here.
That's right, and they were in pretty good shape at one stage too, West, in that game. Another player who will be swan song will be James Hinchy. And Hinchy, as I came back up from the sideline at half-time, Hinchy was in the medical room and getting about 5 stitches, so he's had that gash on his face stitched up, and he's back in the action. Dodgers. It's at just over the 30. He has been a handful. This time, Damon Keating. Let's see if they take the advice of their coach, and that is to hit it up the middle before we go wide. There's 2 good front rower runs. Corey Parker this time up over the halfway. Now Darren Mapp, who has been dangerous. Got that heavy head knock early, but has come back strongly in the latter part of the first half, early minutes of the second. Warwick puts a little chip kick over the top. And finally, Trent Lease picks it up. That wasn't a bad kick from Warwick, but his previous 2 have not been all that good. Good chase there by Warwick himself. George Wilson wants it and gets it. Big set of 6 this, if they can keep Redcliffe defensive from here. Adam Starr, referee down. Bud back up again. They burned up 3 and got it just outside the 20. Danny Burke thought about the offload, but did the right thing. Up to Troy Lindsay. Redcliffe are playing it nice and steady. That is the 5th, so a pretty good set of 6 for Toowoomba. Pressure on the kicker now will make it even better. Gould does pretty well. Charge down, play on, all back onside. Hodges attacks it, he didn't need to. Over the top comes Hinchy. Play on, it is now. Great chance for Redcliffe. Gould pointing right, but definitely wants... Oh, through the hands. Up to Gould. Possible intercept. Oh, no, they've blown it. Well, they had too many players in the end.
But it might have come off a Toowoomba hand.
No, loose head and feet Toowoomba. I think Warwick did his best to try and get a finger on it, but I think in the end it was a vain attempt, or it was in vain. Here it was, beautifully picked up by Gould. Then he had 3 players on the outside. Warwick desperately tries to get it, went between all players, and Toowoomba breathed a huge sigh of relief. Here's a chance on the outside. Wilson thinks about using Walker. Can't get away nicely from Lease in good cover defence. Corey Parker runs out of there. Strong defence. Parker can be a danger man. Danny Burke's been a bit of a revelation in the number 13 for Redcliffe this season. Plays with a lot of vigour. Darren Mapp, I should say.
Hold.
Mapp to play it. Kerrod Walters, nice little face ball up there to Damon Keating, or a short ball. That is the 5th tackle. Now they can put a bit of pressure on from this range. Again, Warwick, a defensive kick. He doesn't find the in-goal area. Well, he hasn't kicked well in this second half, Paul Warwick.
No, he'd want to kick deeper and get him into the in-goal, but you feel as if they're playing to tactics here. They want to complete their sets. They want to get a bit of rhythm and continuity in their game and just maintain some possession, David. I think that in the first half they gave it away too easily.
They certainly did. Warwick, normally a very adept kicker, but just doesn't seem to be on song at the moment.
Well, you'd think they'd be trying harder to either give themselves a chance of scoring a try on that last tackle, or else at least forcing the goal line dropout.
Yep, it's a bit of a nothing kick, really.
This is Barry Denduck searching back infield on the 5th tackle for Redcliffe. Craig O'Dwyer goes on the short side and tries the left-footed kick himself. That's out on the full.
Well, there's a turning point in the match. O'Dwyer elected to do his own kicking. He had his normal kicker in Gould standing right.
So now the Toowoomba Clydesdales have a real chance here. As Carl Webb takes the tackle, 35 out. Walters, Parker, turning it back inside. Is that it's Neil Wyatt caught with the ball inside the 30. Walters looks to the blind side, but sends it away to Corey Parker. Again, they want this man up the middle, and what a tackle. Luke Scott, fantastic tackle there. No, it was Adam Starr was right bang in the middle of that. And now across the 20 have gone the Clydesdales.
Set on the left here.
Walters running from dummy half by himself. Justin Hodges, he's dangerous in that area. Back to Walters, and now out it goes to Damon Keating, straightening up. But nowhere to go there, and that's the 5th tackle. Right in the middle of the field, several options here as it goes to Warwick. The little grubber kick from Warwick. Well, this time they might get themselves a 20 dropout or 20 tap, but no, they don't. Adam Mogg, the experienced fullback.
Great work, Mogg. That was a big play, that. Now to George Wilson, who'll steal a few more metres. Another one back to Denduck. Good work from Redcliffe. Barry Denduck on the outside. Rubs out of a couple. Here comes support from Wilson, but Denduck's not going to use anybody. Gets it up to 45 metres out.
What a run from Barry Denduck.
Great counter-attack from Redcliffe. They were out there, and Adam Mogg has launched this from getting out of his own in goal, where he had no right to do it. Now Hinchy fades down a blind. This is the experience of Redcliffe, the ability to hit back and hit back hard. Counter-attack, you've got to have it. Denduck dances for a moment.
The other thing they got, David, is they're hungry in support. If a man makes a break, there's somebody up there quickly.
Yeah, they're a good team all round. Gould hoisted in the air. Bit of pressure here now for Walker. On the full in his own in-goal area. In the end, no pressure. A little bit of chit-chat, though.
Yeah, touchdown just come in.
And Toowoomba are going to send Jace Van Dyke back into the fray.
There's a player down here. Gould is down. This could be a penalty for on the kicker.
Go away.
Oh, that did look a little bit ugly. Corey Parker was the man coming forward.
Stay here too. Mate, you don't know what to do. You just stand there.
And Chris Walker's got himself in trouble as well. Let's have a hear.
This player here's come through, taking the kicker out. There's no advantage to the kicking side. So,
Mate, you weren't committed, okay? You weren't committed. If you're going to continue with that line of talk, there's one place for you. Up to you. You let your team down. Mate, you talk to him.
So Chris Walker gets a warning.
Here it is again. Well, he just followed through. It was just a bit of a push. There wasn't, it probably looked worse than what it was. But the penalty goes where the ball landed, or 10 metres out from where it landed, 10 metres from the try line. So Redcliffe have got a bit of a decision here. Actually, it's interesting. They're going to have a shot for goal. That's very interesting. 14-6 at the moment. I would have thought they had a chance to perhaps kick away a bit here. But instead, Richter's going to have a shot.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 which way you go. Certainly a 10-point lead would be handy. He'd want to land it, though. But there wasn't much in that decision. That could easily be allowed to play on. Corey Parker coming through. He didn't hit him high. And I don't know if you looked at that at normal speed, whether you'd consider it was late either. He hit on Tony Gould as he got the bomb away.
I agree, Warren. There was not a great deal in it. Probably looked worse than what it was. But now Richter's can add some extras and make it just a bit tougher for the young Clydesdales. Important kick. He pushed one to the right-hand side for the attempted conversion of the try. Can he adjust this time? Hits this one and hits the upright. Bounces back into the field of play and taken dead by the attacking side, I think. Yeah, he was over the dead ball line when he touched
put his foot over the dead ball line and then helped it on its way so that they were able to take it up to the 20 for the tap. So he's back in action, Jace Van Dyke.
Now this is a tap. This is interesting. It must be because it hit the upright. If you miss, it's we might just have a change of decision here. 20-metre dropout. That's correct, because it was from a attempted penalty to drop out. Kerrid's still not sure.
Nora Redcliffe.
And James Hinchy's raced across. He's not sure himself, I think. Or at least he's putting in his 2 bobs worth. Kerrid still wants to have the tap.
They're saying it was play on after it came off the posts.
Yeah, and they're also saying it bounced on the ground before it went out. I don't think that's got anything to do with it. So I think this is the right decision. It could only be different, I think, because the uprights came into play, but I don't think that makes any difference. Here's an awkward kick. If they don't stop it, Redcliffe, they're in trouble. Loose head and feet to Toowoomba. Well, this game is ebbing and flowing. This is a great break for the Toowoomba boys. Redcliffe weren't ready for the well, what was a very awkward dropout, and even though Toowoomba were arguing they wanted the tap, they got a better result from the dropout.
Well, was the dropout intentional, or did it come off the side of his boot?
Side of the boot, I think.
Now Toowoomba on the burst too, with Corey Parker standing out wide, and I've just got the nod from Richie, the chief of the Queensland referees, or the Queensland referees coordinator, Richie Johnson, and he's suggesting that it was the right decision that it be the dropout. So now the pass goes back inside and carted forward by Damon Keating, 10 metres into Redcliffe's territory. Toowoomba need to score again, trailing by 14-6 as quick hands now out wide to Jace Van Dyke and then on to Hodges again, and away goes Justin Hodges. Oh, he's had an impact this afternoon. He's tackled 33 out from the line. He plays the ball and now across field it goes. Damon Keating caught with it just outside the 20, and that's the 5th. On the right-hand side, well, they go to the left instead. Now they switch it across field at Van Dyke, kicking for the corner. Following through there was Warwick, but it's gone into touch.
Yeah, poor kick. I'm sure it was a bit of an ad hoc decision. Jerry, you called it exactly right. The opportunity was on the right. They came the wrong way. They wasted vital time, and then by the time Van Dyke got it, it was a bit of a panic kick.
Hold it steady, guys.
And you really got to make the most of the situation and attack from those areas. It really ended up a defensive kick because it was just a spur-of-the-moment job.
Well, they've completely switched tactics once they get down to the opposition 20, haven't they? In the first half, they ran it at will. Now they're kicking every time, and neither pattern has really worked for them. They're just not executing it properly.
No, they're not going on with the job, Toowoomba, especially to finish their sets of 6. Adam Starr, you can see that's a play on, I think. Picked up by Troy Mitchell. And is it 6 to go? Held 4. Punch up in back play as well, but it quells pretty quickly. Adam Mogg. Mogg searches across. Got him covered. There's Lease back on the inside. Toowoomba defence get 3 in there. That's good slide defence. Oh, he nearly lost that. But it's okay, just had control. Last tackle, putting pressure on Gould. Gould pops the pass up to Mitchell. Then to Olzard. It's gone forward. It's gone forward. And Mitchell has sent somebody backwards. Wilson, I should say, has sent Olzard backwards in one big hurry. Big shoulder charge it must have been.
Here goes Carl Webb on the charge now for the Clydesdales.
It was called back for that forward pass when Tony Gould ran out of room and quickly got a pass away. It went forward.
There's the Beats and Likes dance again from Webb as he plays it now to Walters, and a penalty goes to the Clydesdales, and they take the quick tap. So they're going to try and pinch something out of this. Searching across field, there's no room through there for Darren Ingram.
Run at them.
Now Justin Hodges across field once more. Well, he's pushing them off, but when he straightens up, the defence is ready for him. And Richters was one of the defenders. Now back inside to Darren Mapp. And again, straight defence from Redcliffe, moving up very quickly and effectively. Bloggy was up there, and he's caught 10 metres out from the line. Play to Walters, across now to Van Dyke, showing the ball, and now Corey Parker straightens it up. But again, the defence is good from Redcliffe, but it's under pressure now. Kieran Walters slips it away to Parker. Chance here for Toowoomba.
Oh, he's blown.
With the line wide open, Wilson puts it down.
What did he do? I thought he had the ball and seemed to drop it a second later. That's incredible. Well, the build-up on the inside was just brilliant. Kieran Walters kept it alive, quickly through the hands. Corey Parker, nicely there. Well, he didn't really have it. He should have had it. Alex Wilson, well, grand finals are won and lost by taking your chances. And that could have been a big, big chance gone through the hands.
But the tempo's gone up again too, hasn't it, in this grand final, as Hinchy is forced backwards. We just saw a terrific tackle from Carl Webb. Now Mitchell, and this is Bob Campbell. 5 into Toowoomba's territory. Played to Mitchell. Back it goes for the kick now from Richters. Downfield, easily handled by Justin Hodges. You've got to be careful of him if he makes a break. But Olzard comes in and ensures that he is unable to escape the tackle around the legs. Here goes Alex Wilson again. But once more, solid defence from Redcliffe.
How does he do it, David? He's half the size of some of the forwards out there, and he just hits like a train.
The physiotherapist must love him on a Monday morning. You'd have to work on him all day.
Well, the Clydesdales are still in this with a chance as they've taken it into Redcliffe's territory, but they're running short of tackles. Now Darren Mapp on the charge goes. Mapp looks inside, but there's no support player just when he needed him. Walters away on the far side. The high kick from Van Dyke at crossfield, but straight into the hands of Lease.
The kicking has been atrocious from Toowoomba in this second half. They've really presented it back to Redcliffe. They haven't had a player in close to the ruck who's taken control of the kicking. Now Redcliffe again to work their way out of here. Redcliffe will be quite satisfied at the moment. They've been under a bit of pressure, but have surrendered nothing. And they just work their way out again. They batter their way back upfield. Adam Mogg rushes out of dummy half. That's the fourth, and that's nearly the halfway line. They've got the lead. James Hinchy, they're playing with the lead as well. Well, they're playing like they've got the lead. Last tackle. Oh, that's a poor kick from O'Dwyer. Hodges will take this comfortably. Drops it back in the end, but never under any pressure. With a bit of room to move, Hodges tries to get on the outside. Brushes one, brushes two. Bit of pace as well. Hodges steps back on the inside, decides to cut the inside route instead of going up the outside, and ran back into traffic after brushing two players. Tate chances on the outside. They can flick it. Beautiful pass up to Wilson. He's lost it again. Alex Wilson.
Oh, the frustration coming out now too as Wilson throws the ball at Danny Burke.
Careful, Tony, you'll cop one in there. The referee's in there. A little bit of pushing and shoving, a lot of feeling. 20 minutes to go in the grand final, and Toowoomba keep frittering away chances. Alex Wilson, another one should have been taken.
Well, he should have taken it. The pass was just a fraction behind him, but he certainly should have pulled it in. And that last one where he dropped it with a line wide open, may yet come back to haunt them.
My turn. Alex, if you come in, you take control out of my hands. Do you understand what I'm saying? You take control out of my hands. Don't do it, all right? I'm quite under control, all right?
Wilson showing the frustration of being the culprit on a couple of occasions, but loose head and feed will go to Redcliffe.
David, there's some nerves on both teams out there. You've criticised Toowoomba's kicking game, but Redcliffe hasn't been much better in the last couple of minutes. O'Dwyer put one out on the full. He's just put a poor bomb up a moment ago. Tony Gould got caught on the previous one. Both teams need to get their kicks right.
It's called grand final pressure.
Absolutely.
And there's pressure being applied to those kickers as well. Certainly, the Toowoomba have been very effective in getting up into Tony Gould's face all the time.
Big set of six this.
Absolutely. So O'Dwyer, he had a couple of options on the right, but takes the tackle, just 15 out. If Redcliffe can finish this off, well, they'll be well on the way to a grand final win. Bobby Campbell, who wants to be a part of it, slips a nice pass away, and now they're just half a metre short of the line.
Let him go.
Damien Richters was actually over the line, but in the air. Campbell! No! Great defence from the youngsters, and they've forced him very close to that touchline. Bobby Campbell plays the ball. Who'll try it this time? They've left it behind. Kick over the top by Richters. Oh, Justin Hodges. Beautifully done. Arms outstretched, taking the ball in the in-goal area.
Oh, sorry, Jerry, the touchy is on now. There's a lot of feeling in this, but let's get on with it. It's a grand final. We don't need any more lectures.
The guy stood his ground, but he then held on to him.
Oh, come on. Well, this is interesting.
We can't hold on to him.
Gee whiz. It's called rugby league. Okay, Redcliffe with a good chance now. They'll be hard to stop.
Well, he was saying there was obstruction there, possibly a chaser trying to get through after the Richters kick.
Here comes Laeth. Crashes into the defence. Campbell getting it up forward. Forward, didn't time the run. Watch it, there'll be a bit more feeling now. No one is missing an opportunity now. As soon as the whistle goes, you don't necessarily stop.
Right. No, you
Campbell's
shut up,
got a bit of blood coming.
I
think the referee's had enough. I think that's what he said. I'd say the first team to just do what the referee said and keep their mouths shut might get a few favours from the ref and let the other ones get into strife.
I think
Campbell coming off.
Don't come in yet.
This game is being played much faster than other games through the season, and both teams just haven't really adjusted. They haven't cooled it down to make sure they get their play right.
It's been a real grand final, this one. Warwick. Oh, guess who? Russell Laeth. Thanks for coming. Damon Keating. Crunch defence again.
He's back once more.
Yeah. Talk about the axe. Corey Parker didn't hit the advantage line and therefore was never really going to be too effective there. Little Michael Ryan runs out of dummy half. They should have done better. Let's see if they can get a good long kick on this. A little chip over the top. Walker's going to chase. It's covered by O'Dwyer. Bounces back on the inside. Play on this is the last tackle though. You're going to have to keep it alive out the back. Knocked on. Touched by Redcliffe. 6 to go. Up there this time to Warwick. Good defence there by Damien Richters to cut him down. Chances on the outside. Go ahead now to Toowoomba.
But be patient at the same time.
Yes, Ingram.
So often they've panicked after they've got another set of 6.
Darren Mapp up the middle. He's been evasive. It's only the second tackle. Mapp's in a bit of trouble. Little blindside play up there to Warwick. Tries a little scissors play, but again, Richters reads it beautifully. Hodges to play it. Toowoomba haven't got an answer at the moment. Up there to Wyatt. Wyatt's a creative player and a good runner. Good defence by Redcliffe. They've let him go nowhere. Jace Van Dyke down a blindside up to Corey Parker. They've finally gone forward. But it took them 5 tackles to do it. Can they find the end goal this time? Van Dyke wants it. Crossfield kick. Good high ball. Pressure on. Jump for the ball. Touch knocked forward by Toowoomba. That'll be a changeover. Actually knocked on in the in goal. Wow. I thought he knocked it on in the field of play.
George Wilson taking the ball out. There it is.
Field of play. Yeah. Knocked it forward in the field of play, but let's play on.
We saw a very good tackle by Damien Richters a moment ago on Justin Hodges, and if I was defending on any side of the field where Hodges is, take him. Just go to him. He's too dangerous. You've got to expect Toowoomba to be passing to him.
And every time he gets the ball, he flicks a couple of tackles. It's almost predictable. Here goes James Hinchy. Slips a nice pass away to Richters. But fortunately for Toowoomba, Redcliffe wasn't able to get his pass away because Wilson was in the clear on the far side. But now they might make it through the middle. And they're just 30 metres out from the line where Adam Mogg plays the ball. Almost knocked on by O'Dwyer. Not a good pass, but Gould now slips it away to Richters. Richters' kick is magnificently taken by Adam Warwick on that far side. Warwick then for Toowoomba. To his own 20, and in the sunshine it's 14-6 and 15 minutes to go in the Bundy Cup Grand Final. Has been a fantastic Grand Final so far as Hodges. It takes 3 to bring him to ground, and that's probably about par for the course for Justin Hodges. Such an elusive player. A nice little dart by Ryan. Hodges to dummy half, and now Paul Warwick. And it's been put down again, this time by Walker, and picked up by Olzard, and Redcliffe are on the attack once more.
Walker came in too late there.
Walker could be marched. He's upset Tony Maxsood, the referee, a couple of times.
He was the one who knocked the ball on there, and through that frustration raced after the Redcliffe player, Chris Walker.
Moggy, go. Moggy, go.
I hope he leaves him on. It was a unnecessary action. Now, that's fair enough.
He's gone.
That's fair enough. Penalty from 38 metres out, right in front, and he's going to have another shot. Well, I'm not so sure of these tactics.
Next time he's gone, Damon.
8-point lead at the moment. 10 points still allows Toowoomba to score twice to win it. And I reckon Redcliffe could have gone on with the job there.
Both teams would like to have had every 5th tackle play all over again. They've muffed time after time. Both teams haven't made the most of them. They haven't put pressure on the opposition. They've just handed the ball back or made a mistake on that 5th tackle, and that's the most vital play of every set. If you get to it, David, you can really put the opposition under the hammer.
Yeah, it can certainly make a difference, that big last play.
And haven't we seen a classic battle here of youth versus experience? Not saying that Redcliffe have been perfect, but there has been that question of maturity about this game lacking on occasions.
Well, they talk about aerial game in soccer, for example, and hasn't Justin Hodges got it? And you'd think you'd be using that on the 5th tackle.
Yes, he's a classic athlete, Hodges. Can Richters add 2 more to make it just a bit tougher, but not impossible for the Clydesdales to come home? Hits it quite nicely, but out to the right-hand side. Missed another one. Another dropout.
I'd love him to have kicked both of them to be up to 12 points, 2 converted tries.
Yeah, that would make it real tough then.
One hit the upright.
Mate, I'm giving you a fair shake.
Now see if they can fluke the touchline again.
Mind you, it is using up a bit of time. 13 minutes to go. The difference is 8 points, so the job is certainly in front of the Clydesdales.
And they get the ball back.
And Redcliffe, who have played in 4 of the 5 Queensland Cup Grand Finals, could end up being the first team to win 2. Barry Denduck showing it back inside. I think that's Hinchy caught 10 metres in Toowoomba's territory. On the short side now. Good run here by Damien Richters. 25 out now. Can Redcliffe finish it off from here? As Richters plays the ball, it goes to Denduck and then on to Lindsay. Lindsay does well in pushing off one. Bulldog to the ground, but still he keeps going on hands and knees across the 20-metre line. Denduck, Gould, will he try a kick? Tries the run by himself, but it was a good tackle. I think it was Warwick coming in.
Kick is out of play.
Now across to Adam Mogg, and Mogg's unable to get it away, goes to Denduck. He takes the tackle, and that'll be the handover.
Well, Tony,
12 metres out.
Sorry, Jerry. Tony Gould not expecting to be tackled on the second last play, and just got caught, and therefore not in a position to put the kick up and keep the pressure on. Completion rates. Toowoomba have surrendered more. They've had more ball, but they've only just hung on to it. One more tackle over and above the times they've had it.
Well, Warren made the comment about the lack of imagination in that last tackle play, and we just saw it again. But again, it's been great pressure put on the kickers.
Chris Walker deciding to come to the middle. He's a guy who needs to get more involved. Kerrod Walters doesn't quite know what to do out of there. He's going to get caught from behind. Little pass up to Carl Webb. Carl Webb tries to bump through a couple. They're still not going forward. Kerrod Walters wants someone to run off him. Nice ball this time up to Walker. Chris Walker, the try-scoring machine. Can't offload. He had Hodges on his side. That's the fifth tackle. Good chance to run it on the right. Hodges tries the kick. This is not a bad one. They want it to sit. Awkward here for Adam Mogg. Can he get out again? He's done it again, Adam Mogg. Almost in the same spot. He's got out of jail twice. And Wilson has also followed up with a good run, as he did the last time.
How important is Adam Mogg as a custodian for Redcliffe? He's probably one of the unsung heroes of that team. He is just a fantastic player for positional sense, and of course when he gets those long legs going, he can be a real cause of havoc for the defence.
Gould kicking on the fifth. It's come off the side of the boot, but he's going to take it. He's going to be fortunate here. There's even a bit more pressure coming on Hodges. Did pretty well, Hodges, to go down onto that. Gould was very fortunate. Alex Wilson, have a run, Alex. Tries to get away from Olzo, but can't. Good rushing defence by Redcliffe. They're not going to make it easy for Toowoomba.
Well, there was more enthusiasm from Redcliffe getting up in defence than there was Toowoomba to get back in attack.
Well, Toowoomba have got to score 2 tries. They're probably only going to have another 4 or 5 sets as we're within the last 10 minutes, so they've got to score one fairly soon.
Corey Parker. And Chris Walker lurking up on the inside again. Kerrod Walters runs out of dummy half, pops the pass up, not a particularly good one. Back on the inside of Corey Parker. Got gaps back on the inside, but can't get it to Walker. Yes, he does now. Walker's knocked it back. Good work from Walker. Up there to Webb. This is what they've got to do now. Up there to Wilson. Get on the outside one more time. Good chance for Alex Wilson. Crunch. Last tackle. High ball, take your chances. Up to Jace Van Dyke, decides to run it. Out there to Warwick. He realises he's under a bit of pressure. Not a good last tackle play. 6 to go. Went forward. Dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear.
In the background, James Hinchy gets up slowly, but he has pulled off some absolutely vital tackles in the last few minutes. There's no doubt about the fact that James Hinchy wants to go out a winner.
Yeah, and he deserves to too. He's been a great player, Hinchy, for Redcliffe over many, many years. And as we know, he copped that very heavy knock in the first half with a gash.
Here's Mitchell.
Has to be stitched.
Just short of the halfway. Mitchell to play the ball. We're down to 8 minutes to go in the match. And good strong run, nice offload as well to Adam Mogg. And the fullback involves himself and takes the tackle. About 38 out. Mitchell calling for the tackle play to be allowed to play the ball. Gould with a juggle, but keeps it alive. Lovely pass to Richters. Richters has a man inside, gets it to Wilson. Can Wilson finish it off over the top pass? And who's come up with it?
Redcliffe, fifth and last.
Yeah, Barry Denduck to play it. So here they go. Gould, can they have a good fifth tackle play this time? No, across the dead ball line it goes.
Well,
but they've sent the Toowoomba Clydesdales back in their own territory deep again.
Watch these guys attack now. It's all or nothing now. Corey Parker stand in the tackle. I'm sure he'll be able to offload. No, can't. Tries to play it quickly. Michael Ryan runs out of there. Good market defence up to Kerrod Walters. Walters across field. No one with him though. No, you've got to back up from everywhere now. Dennis White it is. That's a bit of a, at best you could call it a settler. I don't know why you'd be doing that at this point in the game. Jace Van Dyke up this time to Darren Mapp. Little chance on the outside to Wilson. Wilson pops it out to Walker. Good tackle up to Corey Parker. Parker goes forward. Good defence from Redcliffe. Good defence. White dashes down a blind side, gets away from one, steps Bond back on the inside, needs a bit of support, can't get any. That's the 5th tackle. You've got to run it, fellas. Parker. Little grubber in behind. Walker pointed for this one. Moggs coming through. He's knocked it forward. He's knocked it forward. It'll be a changeover. Well, that's what they wanted. The kick was just always rolling away. They probably want a little chip kick rather than one that was running away from Walker. He got a hand on it but couldn't control it. He had to throw the hand at it because Mogg would have got it otherwise.
Well, Toowoomba providing the finish that they need and that we as viewers love. They're really throwing the ball around because they desperately need to score some points. 14-6 in favour of the Dolphins, and the Dolphins looking good for the Queensland Cup, but we've seen so many cliffhangers over the years. There's every chance we could see another one. As the enthusiasm of the defence, again a lifting tackle that time, but the ball played on the short side. James Hinchy shows it and keeps on going nearly to the halfway. Good quick play the ball by Hinchy. Dwyer sends it across to Russell Lahipis, or is it Richters with a kick? Good kick from Richters. He's found touch just short of the corner post. Oh, that was a vital kick. There he is, Damien Richters, Mr. Reliable in the centres, and his kicking game has been very important in this match because they've just bottled up Tony Gould.
Yeah, that's a great kick from Richters at this stage of the game to put Toowoomba back on their heels. They're going to need to be desperate. Kicking in general play, Redcliffe have kicked more and they've kicked better, marginally better. Toowoomba have not kicked it all well.
Not yet,
and not just putting Toowoomba back on their heels, but it slows the game down.
Justin Hodges from the base of the scrum near the touchline. Got to play it quick and got to play fast here, fellas. Wilson can't get away from the marker in Trent Lease. That's the 2nd tackle. You want stepping, running and back up. Mapp can't get through. Wanted somebody close to him. That's the 3rd. Walters out of dummy half. Holds the marker. Up there to Jace Van Dyke. Steps back on the inside. Looking for a bit of support. Finds Dennis White. Beautifully back again to Jace Van Dyke. Pass over the top to nobody. Picked up in the end there by Neil Wyatt. Neil Wyatt does pretty well to stay in the field of play. That's the 4th tackle. Flick it back the other side. Up to Justin Hodges. You don't have to do it all solo, fellows. That's the 5th tackle. Run it on the left, on the right. Jace Van Dyke. Little grubber on the in behind. This is an interesting one. Denduck back nicely to get a hold of it. Well, they've tried to kick attackingly late in this second half to snatch this game from the Dolphins, but Redcliffe will not let go. They have been too tenacious.
That was another attacking kick for Chris Walker. He had the pace to just be right at the back of the Redcliffe player, diving on it. Not quite, but Walker's looking for every opportunity to try and pull this one out of the fire.
George Wilson plays the ball to O'Dwyer. It's offloaded now and taken forward by Danny Burke. And that's the 30-metre line in their own territory as the Dolphins' Big Bob Campbell ready for a champagne finish to his career. Caught 10 from halfway. That's the 5th tackle. So the kick will come from Damien Richters. Again, great pressure from the Toowoomba Clydesdales. Justin Hodges will have heaps of time to take this ball inside his 20. Now Redcliffe have to be wary as he builds up pace, but takes the tackle. 12 from halfway. Walters. And away to Dennis White. Tony Gould has his measure on the halfway line.
Lost it.
Yep. It's lost by Dennis White. Frustration from White. And costly for Toowoomba with 3.5 minutes to go. 14-6 in favour of Redcliffe. And it certainly is starting to look like a Dolphins Queensland Cup.
There's the coach, Ivan Henjak, very disappointed. Just come so close.
And they've had their opportunities, haven't they, David? Toowoomba can't say that we weren't in the game, that we didn't have chances. They haven't taken enough of them.
Yeah, that one over the line, Warren, didn't they? The line wide open.
Well, that was a big one, wasn't it? The scores would have been very close then.
Yeah, 2-point game at that stage, or it would have been. But instead, the game is not done on would-be's. It's who does the job, and Redcliffe have done it again. They have been the premier club in the Queensland Cup over the last 5 years, and they deserve to be the first club to win it twice.
Here goes Adam Starr. Good run up to the 30, able to offload to O'Dwyer, and now turn nicely back inside to Bob Campbell from Danny Burke, and they're 25 out. If they can score now, that'll be it. They can start celebrating. Play to O'Dwyer, back across to Burke, and Burke takes it now to within 12. Can they finish it off with a try here now as it goes across to Tony Gould? Oh, this is being followed through by Lease, but taken nicely by Walker in the in-goal area, and they'll bring it back to the 20 for the tap. And there, Neil Wharton, the coach of the Redcliffe Dolphins, will still be anxious because he knows that it's not over yet, even though they've got an 8-point lead. Hodges, rather.
Well, if they score a try, you won't want to make it an 8-point try.
Carl Webb takes the tackle, fired from halfway, as this might be the last opportunity now. It's Kerrod Walters, wild old pass, picked up by Wilson, but the defence is there. Olzard ensures that the ball is bottled up. Played to Walters, and Walters says, come on, come with me. And now the pass over the top, and that wild pass then from Tate out wide, kicked ahead by Warwick, and well, still a chance. Knocked on here, knocked on.
Picked it up the second time clean as a whistle, but knocked it on the first time, Jace Van Dyke. Well, the young kids have showed some skills, but they just couldn't execute on all occasions. A good kick this from Warwick, trying to pull something out of the fire. Jace Van Dyke couldn't pick that one up. Got the second, but of course the first one counts. And Toowoomba will rue the missed opportunities. I think their passing game has let them down today. Toowoomba, if anything, I think there's a few individuals that have tried to do a little bit too much solo instead of allowing a passing game to do the job. But some great work from Redcliffe. They've got to take a lot of credit. This was a determined side who copped a flogging from Toowoomba 2 weeks ago. They hit back beautifully last week against East, and then they've toughed it out here today. And this man has toughed it out as well as anybody. What a season Damien Richters has had, and he's had another fine game to cap off the season.
Now Redcliffe spreading the ball wide.
And it's the minor premiers, the team who've done it all season, who are going to win the grand final.
Yeah, Neil Wharton in his first effort as coach in the big time has come up with the top grade, and that's a nice way to finish it. Tony Gould kicks into touch. They've won it. They've taken out the crown, the Bundy Gold Cup.
Yeah, and the supporters from Redcliffe, they realise that as the referee, Tony Maxsood, rules full-time, and the Redcliffe Dolphins have become the first team to win the Queensland Cup for a second time. 14 points to 6. Neil Wharton being congratulated by the officials from the Redcliffe Club, and they're the players themselves. And what a special moment this is for Big Bob Campbell, who currently is shaking hands with the referee. Neil Wharton there, the coach. And here we have the Redcliffe players themselves. Dennis White from Toowoomba showing the disappointment of what it's like to lose a grand final. There, James Hinchy in the middle of the picture. His last game for Redcliffe. What a send-off. Don't be surprised if they throw him on their shoulders. What a terrific game he had too. He was desperate in defence in the grand final. Showed fantastic courage as always. Troy Lindsay, the number 10, there he is, right in the middle. And Bob Campbell with the bandage around the head. After playing with West for many years and a long, long career playing in the big time. And there they are, the two of them. They've experienced big-time rugby league. And this moment is probably as sweet as any in their long careers. And James Hinchy has been a long-standing servant for Redcliffe. He's now a very proud son of the Redcliffe Football Club, coming originally from New South Wales. But hasn't he been just so fantastic for them in recent years? Big Adam Starr, who had a long time out with injury late in the season, got back just in the last couple of weeks. And Tony Gould, similar situation. It was obvious that the Clydesdales decided they had to shut down Gould, and they did it effectively. There's Gould, the number 6 at the back there, and James Hinchy, the number 12, and Adam Mogg, the number 1. Let's go down to the man of the match, Damien Richters. He's with Warren Boland.
Damien, congratulations. How does it feel? You're exhausted by the look of you.
Tremendous. Unbelievable feeling.
You've played the house, and you've had a tremendous game yourself.
Thank you.
And the team, I mean, the celebrations are going to go on long and hard, but when did you really feel you had it in the bag?
Not until that hooter went, I don't think. I mean, they're a dangerous side. They can score from anywhere. It was just a tremendous effort to hang on.
And you had to tackle all day to stop them, didn't you?
Yeah, they just came out. I thought our first 10 minutes was tremendous. They threw everything at us and we just held them out. So.
That forward pack of yours carried the ball right to them.
Yeah, I don't think we aimed up like we should in the forwards against them at Redcliffe in the semi-final, and they went straight through us. And the forwards made a bit of a pack to go forward, and they did that last week against East, and they did it again today.
And little moments like Adam Mogg getting out of the in-goal area twice.
Yeah, Adam's a great player.
Congratulations, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Damien Richter's playing in the centres for Redcliffe, had a tremendous game. And as we mentioned there, lady, had to come involved with the kick as well. And their coach, Neil Wharton, would be absolutely delighted. He's with David Wright.
Well, Neil, how's it feel, mate? First time in as coach, and the boys have done it.
Oh, that's great. You know, I've got a very good football team. You know, they're the blokes that need the credit. That's sensational today, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the things you'd have to be most pleased about. I tried to look at the man of the match, and everyone in the side played well.
No, I can't pick him.
No.
I don't know who it is. They all had to aim up. They knew they were under pressure, and you know, we knew we could respond as well. So, you know, I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, and a couple of guys that look like it might be their last year, Big Bob Campbell and James Hinchy. Great efforts by them as well. Great career finishes.
Yeah, well, it's a great way to go out. It's a dream, isn't it? You know, and James Hinchy's a tremendous football player, and Robbie Campbell, what they've done for this league over the last, 6 to 10 years has been outstanding. So, you know, it's a credit to them.
And Neil, a credit to you too. I mean, you've taken over Redcliffe, who've been a successful club, but that's not easy to coach a successful side. What's your thoughts when you look back on the season?
Yeah, it was always difficult. You know, it's hard when you've got so many good experienced players. They're set in their ways. You know, we had to change the structure of how we played our footy, and although it probably wasn't showing there today, we did change it, and that's what got us to the minor premiership. And you know, it's just been a great effort for the whole year.
Mate, great effort by the team, great effort by you. Go and enjoy yourself. Well done, mate.
Mate, can I just thank all the people at Redcliffe that have supported us, my staff particularly, and my mum and dad and wife that have come down to watch it.
Good on you, Neil. Well done, mate.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, Neil Wharton, taking over the reins this year. And the statistics of the game, and what a game it was. 14-6, the penalties were even, the possession was pretty even, time in their own half was fairly even, the completion rates 31 from 43 from Toowoomba, 31 from 37 for Redcliffe. So much better completion rate from them. Toowoomba had to do a lot of tackling. And, well, interestingly, Redcliffe had more missed tackles than Toowoomba, but Toowoomba also made more line breaks, but it was Redcliffe who had the solid defence, the determination, the experience to go on and win the game, and to turn around a 46-12 loss 2 weeks ago in the major semi-final to the same team and come up when it really counted with a 14-6 victory in the premiership decider. Let's go down now to the official presentation of the Bundy Gold Cup for 2000 and our MC, John McCoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the presentation of the Bundy Gold 2000 Cup. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you the chairman of the Queensland Rugby League, Mr. John McDonald.
The Honourable Terry McEnroth, MLA, Minister for Sport, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, on behalf of the Queensland Rugby League, may I congratulate the winners, Redcliffe, on an outstanding performance right throughout the year, but more importantly here on Grand Final Day. To Neil Wharton and his team, congratulations on a job well done. I'd like to express our grateful thanks to Tony Scanlon, Queensland Manager of Bundaberg Rum, the sponsors of the Bundy Gold Cup. Commiserations to the Toowoomba Clydesdales, to Coach Ivan Hinjak and the team. They put up a valiant effort, but unfortunately there has to be only one winner, and Redcliffe were that this year. We look forward to a continuation of this, and there'll be an announcement made about that later on. But to all those who've come a long distance to see the game, thanks very much for joining us. Congratulations to the winners.
Thank you, John. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the General Manager of Bundaberg Rum, Mr. Tony Scanlon.
Thanks, John. First of all, I congratulate all the supporters who are out here today. You've made this a great day for the Queensland Rugby League. Thanks to the two teams, Toowoomba and Redcliffe, and I hope you've all enjoyed a few Bundy Golds today. I'd just like to congratulate Redcliffe on their great win. Okay, and I'll hand over to John to call up the finalists for today.
Thank you, Tony. And now we'll call on the victorious captain of the Redcliffe Dolphins to accept the Bundaberg Gold Cup trophy, Craig O'Dwyer.
Well, I think Toowoomba, they're a good footy side. They're a lot of good young kids, and over the next few years they're going to be real hard to beat. Been here a few years now, and I know about this competition, the Bundy Gold Cup this year. It's it's getting harder to win every year, and our effort, the Redcliffe boys, they're a proud bunch of men, and the way we played today and the way we played over the last 2 weeks, it's been real good. To our supporters, the Redcliffe crew, they go all over Queensland to come and watch us play, and we're real proud of that. To everyone else in the Cup, thanks a lot for coming along, and if you're looking for a drink over the next month, give me a ring. I'll be very happy to see you.
In a moment, we'll present the winners with their medals, but at this stage, let's call on the captain of the Toowoomba Clydesdales, David Keating.
On behalf of the Toowoomba Clydesdales, I'd like to thank all our supporters that have followed us throughout the year. I'd like to thank Redcliffe for putting up a good game today. Especially like to thank the boys. It's been a great year. We've had a really good year. A lot of young fellas there with a lot of potential, going to go a long way in football. And a big thanks to Ivan Henjak, our coach. He's finishing up with us today. I'm sorry we couldn't put you out on a better note, Ivan, but that's the way footy goes sometimes. I'd like to thank the coaching staff and the trainers, all the Toowoomba board and supporters, and the Brisbane Broncos. If we could have all the team come up now and get their medals.
Thanks, Damon. Now the Toowoomba Clydesdales, and Damon will introduce each of his players as they receive their runners-up medals.
So the runners-up, Toowoomba Clydesdales, Jace Van Dyke, the halfback, finishing up Paul Warwick, who has played so magnificently for them at 5'8", Darren Ingram. Darren Mapp, who certainly had an excellent game in the grand final, but unfortunately it doesn't always finish the way you would have liked, as Dennis White receives his runners-up medal, and Corey Parker, and there Kerrod Walters, well, it might have been his last game, but you're never quite sure, because Kerrod apparently has enjoyed this year so much he's thinking about maybe going around again next year, whether or not it would be with Toowoomba or whether he might go back to England. But that's a reflection of the good time that he has had. Chris Walker there and Carl Webb. We're going to see more of them. They'll continue their careers with the Broncos organisation, and don't be surprised to see both of them very much involved in the Brisbane Broncos themselves in future years.
Captain Craig O'Dwyer.
Now for the winners.
Our number one at fullback, Adam Mogg. Great season, Mogg. 2, we got Georgie Wilson. 5, we got Trent Lease. 3, Johnny Olzard. Number 4, a man of the match today and had a great season, Damien Richters. In the 6, come back from a great injury, 12 weeks out, he's got a lot of heart, Tony Gould. Half-back, Barry Dender. And we come to the forwards in 13, he's really lifted his game this year, he's Danny Burke. Great effort, Danny. Bergie, what are you dead? Second rowers, mate, you can't go anywhere without the 2-back row, and that's Lukey Scott and James Hinchy. James Hinchy's last game, everybody. Give the man a lip. Big clap. In the front row, and tell you what, he's a try-scoring machine. He's Troy Lindsay. Took him 25 games to score a try, but gee, he scored a good one. Yeah, the front row used to be a Panther, he's turned into a Dolphin, Bertie Campbell.
And there, as we lead the celebrations for Big Bob Campbell, Redcliffe have won the grand final of 2000 by 14-6. Lease, Lindsay and O'Dwyer scoring tries, Richter's kicking a goal, and for Toowoomba, Hodges the try and Warwick the goal. Victorious Redcliffe, the first team ever to win 2 Queensland Cups. And what a great victory it was by 14-6 over Toowoomba.